Hi, I'm Jennifer Vera, and I graduated from John Jay in June 2023 with a Bachelor of Arts in Forensic Psychology and Anthropology. The very first experiential learning opportunity I had at John Jay was Sophomore Act, where I was introduced to elevator pitches, mock interviews, and internship searches. The ideal goal of that program was to have a resume and cover letter completed and reviewed by a coach so that students could start applying to internships. This opportunity shifted to online because of the pandemic, so the internships were limited because no one really knew how to do online internships at the time. I ended up applying for the CUNY Recovery Corps internship and had the help from my LEAP advisor to revise my resume and cover letter. Weeks later, I was accepted into the internship and interned as a peer ambassador for the Office of Student Transition Programs on campus. Because I was also a LEAP student and had become a peer advisor, my supervisor emailed me about a pilot program called the CCPD Alumni Mentoring Program, and I became one of the first students to participate. I was matched with a private investigator in California who had her own private investigative company. I quickly noticed that all of these connections that I had created were what I called the domino effect. The domino effect to me is a ripple of events that occur after networking and researching opportunities. My mentor taught me all about the qualifications required to become a private investigator here in New York, as she was a native herself despite relocating to California. Most importantly, she helped me learn what was needed to excel in the field. During one of our weekly meetings, she introduced me to a professional association called the California Association of Licensed Investigators. This would later be the first professional association I would be a part of as the first student member. After the CUNY Recovery Corps internship, I was accepted to the internship at a company called Nardello & Co., another private investigation company that conducted investigative research for top-notch clients. Here, I worked with attorneys, investigative analysts, and private investigators. After reading my acceptance letter, I remember realizing that if it weren't for my mentor and everything that I had learned about the field, I wouldn't have gotten the internship. After all, this was my first non-CUNY internship where I would intern for a full academic year and be paid more than minimum wage. This internship also allowed me to earn academic credit through the course Fieldwork in Psychology, where I would report my internship hours and connect psychology with my role. One thing I should mention is that I'm an avid emailer. I make sure to check my email as soon as I wake up and check several times a day after. I've added myself to all the listservs that John Jay has to offer, such as scholarships and fellowships, the CUNY Weekly, and the Veterans Association, as a few to mention. One day, while checking my email during my junior year, an alumni reached out through the Veterans Association about an opportunity with the U.S. Marshals. I read the qualifications and pressed submit. While I did have self-doubt, I attended mock interviews and practiced answering questions to myself on camera. Weeks later, I read an email saying that I was accepted as a federal intern. I'll admit that I had an issue with imposter syndrome. I had such success with the first two internships that I thought maybe I was just lucky. But I spoke to my LEAP advisor about what I was feeling, and she assured me that it was normal, as no one really expects such success early on. I was working really hard and using the resources that John Jay had to offer, so it shouldn't have been a big surprise. While interning for Nardello & Co., I was also attending the U.S. Marshals internship. On top of that, I was also a full-time student, which, in all honesty, was a lot. However, my time management skills that I was unknowingly building were helping me balance everything. From there, I went on to intern with the New York City Department of Investigations, Squad 7, NYCHA. During this time, I was also admitted into an internship with FEMA, but was unfortunately canceled because a hurricane had impacted many states. After networking with John Jay's editorial team, I connected with the editorial director about expressing my success on the power of internships. My experiences were later documented and promoted on the John Jay website on their news page. During the summer, I was an orientation leader for the Office of Student Transition Programs. I was pretty close with the people in the office from my time working with them as a sophomore, and by maintaining the relationship with my former supervisor, she reached out regarding the orientation leader position. It's really important to stay in touch with the people that you've worked with, especially on campus. Just stop by from time to time and say hi to the people in the different organizations that you've worked with in the past. The main reason why is because you never know who is going to recommend you, send you an opportunity, and connect you with professionals. I started to shy away from federal, local, and private sectors because I felt like I wasn't giving enough love to my anthropology major. So I took the career survey on the John Jay Careers online site to see what positions my interests currently aligned with. The positions recommended to me were recruitment, sales, human resources, and operations. During my senior year, I interned for a software company called RippleMatch as a recruitment program manager, which I at first had no idea was about. I contacted Leap despite no longer being a sophomore, and they helped me research similar roles for the future and how to use the skills I accumulated to them. At RippleMatch, I conducted outreach to more than 50 students a week throughout the entire country for potential candidates for the company's marketing internship. I created hundreds of emails, conducted interviews, cold calling, and client management process in one semester. To think that with that one experience, I can now apply for those kinds of jobs as well as federal, local, and private is a blessing. And it's all because I used John Jay's resources. I feel that if I hadn't really stuck to those resources and utilized them the way that I did, I would have been lost.